Hello, fairy friends. Fairy Princess Lolly here. And today I am just working. I've got a bit of a chore that I'm doing. I'm making right now DIY fairy balefire starter logs. And I'm sure you all know what a starter log is, that thing that you throw into a fire pit to help get the wood burning. So I'm making these from all DIY, from everything here, almost everything here, is upcycled. And the first thing I'm doing right now, even though I have plenty of saved toilet paper rolls, I also had this little roll that some wrapping paper for dross boxes was around, so I'm just cutting this approximately at the length of a toilet paper roll. As you may know, my festival is coming up. Actually, we'll cut this one right in half at the end of June, and we will have giant bonfires there. So I'm making a bunch of these for the festival so we can use them to chuck them into the fire. And hello, Lemon Crescent, how are you? Thank you for joining me. So I figured I would just walk you guys through this a little bit, tell you about fairy balefires and what those are, and then one of the ways that you can do this at home to make your own balefire. I'll just get that clipped out. So like I said, this was an old tube from wrapping paper. These are toilet paper tubes. And this that you see here on the stove, it's kind of dark, so I'm not sure how well you can see it. Let me see. This right here. This is a jar of wax, melted wax. And it's actually not just any wax, but wax that has been previously used. So I get these so that I can make my castle smell lovely. And their wax melts. And then when they're done, I pour them into a jar. And when the jar gets full, then I melt that wax down again, and then you can burn it as a candle. In this case, I'm going to use it to make balefire starter logs. So the first step in this process here is to, so this one you can see I kind of did some designs on it so that it looks a little more like a log as opposed to some kind of toilet paper roll. And so I just basically drew on that with a Sharpie, and this Sharpie, I'll show you why it did that actually there in a minute. And just kind of drew some kooky little tree. I'm just gonna make a little knot in this tree. It doesn't have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and in fact, considering that it's supposed to emulate wood, it probably shouldn't be perfect because the design of trees is very much not perfect lines. So there's one, and I did this. Now what you want to do this as the first step if you actually want to make it look like little log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. So the reason is because if you wait till after the fact and you put your Sharpie along the wax, that wax, one, will not take the ink very well, two, will come off of here and onto the tip of your Sharpie, which then makes it not, you have to kind of clean it off to get it to write again. So step number 2 here is we take our little fairy log and dip it into, now these are kind of going to be combined steps here because so this is what I use. It's called Mystical Fire. I don't know. It's blue. You can see that inside, and it's basically Ion the Leprechaun has explained to me that these are sort of a magical chemical that when it burns, that's what helps make fire change different colors. That's why sometimes if you burn a box that's a cereal box, it will have stuff like this in it, the paint will, and then that's why they will burn different colors, or newspaper, for example. So anyway, these two things we're going to combine here now in order to make a balefire when this is done, right? So, and a balefire, just so you know, is not just any bonfire or fire in your fireplace. So we're going to dip this into the wax, right? I should clear this off, actually, because we want to coat the entire log with wax. And then, let's see, can we see that? Can we see that plate there? Nope, we can't see that plate there. So I will set the plate here where I know it can be seen. So dip log in wax. While that wax is wet, we want to just go ahead and kind of set it at an angle. And then let's just sprinkle this in here in the same way that you might sprinkle glitter if you were, you know, in school. And just get a nice little good coating in there. And I'm doing it over this plate so that I can scrape it off here or pour it off here and still continue to use all of this until it's gone. So I'm just going to set that one right there. And then we'll take the next one, and because that wax needs to cool and dry a little bit. So I'll give this one a good dipping. And then we will let it shake out. Give it a little good sprinkling inside. So a balefire is not just any bonfire or fire in your fireplace. A balefire is a special fire that is of significant power, and specifically it produces glamour, which is fairy magic. It is a source of revitalizing and rejuvenating your own magical reserves, if you will. And fairy magic, which is also known as glamour, as I just stated, is a type of magic that focuses on the art of perception, how we perceive things, illusion, and sort of the manipulation of, basically, of that which would appear to be normal around us. Woo. So I'm just going to set this one here and let it dry. And then I'll take this one. And so when we talk about a balefire, the reason it's different, and especially, you know, with these little fire starter logs here, it's because they make the fire otherworldly. It's beautiful in different colors, but they aren't made up different colors. They're different colors using things that exist here in the realm that we all share, right? So, you know, don't let people tell you that it's unnatural. All of these things ultimately come from natural substances. Everything around the world, no matter what we do with it, is natural. And so we use these and we chuck them into the fire in the same way if you were to put pepper into a fire. I don't know if you've ever done this, and it just makes the fire spark, and off go all your little, you know, all your little salamanders and will-o-wisps, right? Like dragon's breath coming out of the bonfire. So this turns your fire different colors, and it makes it mesmerizing and mystical and magical, and helps to fill our minds with something unusual, a different perspective on a classic yellow fire. So while these little guys are just cooling right here, I'm just gonna, you know, draw. Oh, I left my Sharpie open too long. I'm just gonna, you know, mark up another new log. This is actually kind of thick, I can tell here. So that being the case, it might be wise on this one to leave this stuff here. It will help it catch a little bit better. The reason we dip it in wax is because wax burns very well, and so it will really help any kind of a fire catch on. Now I'm going to show you how I do this part. It seems straightforward, but I've learned in the past from from doing this. So we'll take this one because it's entirely covered now. Almost entirely covered. Whoop. Now it's entirely covered. So when you do this, you're going to start, now that's what happens when you get wax on your burner. Boo. So when you do this, you start with, this is dryer lint and used up dryer sheets. So the dryer lint, first of all, it's going to smell like hair no matter what. And everybody has hair and they lose it and it gets into your clothes and everything. So when this finally burns, it will smell like hair. But you need to not stuff it in there because it's quite thick. Most dryer lint is made of cotton and other such fibers. And you need to open it up a little bit to give it air to breathe. If air cannot flow through your log, then it will just light up on the edges. It won't be able to breathe and pull the air through to make the flame go, and you'll just end up with a dead fire starter. These guys, they burn, they're some sort of synthetic material, so they burn quite rapidly, just right, and not for very long. So I usually will put these in here to kind of, that way they have a use, but I don't want to pack them in there either. And then a little bit more. It really doesn't take very much lint to put in there, but a little bit more lint, just kind of boop, 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 stuff it in there. And I like to leave a little bit sticking out because then it's easy to start it. So I give it one more dip. Oh no, sometimes that happens. That's why we have these. I'm gonna see if I can pull it out with my finger. Yeah, I'll do this. Get in there and get that lint. There we go. That will be fun to clean off my tongs. And then kind of get that just in there. Boop. Get that in there. And then I just set them out to dry. I have my little dryer towel over on behind the camera here, so you can't really see it, but oh, maybe I don't. I do now. Had to quick save there, quick save. Set that out to dry. And then we'll just move on to the next one. So turn them over, dip the other side. Give it a little shake with the Balefire dust. So get in there. And then set that guy out to dry. And then move this one off to the side. We will give this one here a dip. I'm thinking here it's going to be best actually to just do this. Just get it all done and dry at once. Get that out of there. Yes. Go ahead. Set that there. Oh, I forgot to put in my dust. And so you can, you can get this at any, maybe a Lowe's or a Home Depot, Walmart, any store like that. Any place that has a camping section, I think that you can probably find this. Although I don't know how you would ask for it by name, because I don't, I mean, this has a name here, but Mystic Fire, I don't know. So that would be the name to ask for. Anywho, I am going to continue to finish making these guys, but I wanted to share with you exactly what it was that I was doing while I was doing it, because it's always nice to have people to sometimes chat with or whatever. Whistle while you work. So I hope you guys all have a good evening, and as with other tutorials, I will eventually make this one nice and pretty and edit it down. So have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bye bye.